Hi friends, I am Uday Sagar Kandpal and I welcome you all to yet another lecture on NCERT Class 7 History Summary with Fact Collaboration. So the topic for today is Summary and Indian Wars and Maps. So, Ancient Indian Wars. Name of the conflict: the Magad-Vajji War from 484 BCE to 468 BCE, and India and its allies were Haryanka dynasty. Opponents were Vajji confederacy led by Licchavis. Outcome was Magad victory, Magadhan annexation of Vajji confederacy. Indian campaign of Alexander the Great, uh, from 327 BCE to 325 BCE. India and its allies were the Macedonian empires. And opponents were various Indian kingdoms. Outcome was Macedonia conquers much of the Indus Valley yet has to stop advance into the Ganges plain. Then it was conquest of the Nanda Empire, 321 to 320 BCE. It lied under Maurya Empire. Opponents were Nanda Empire. Maurya victory and outcome was Maurya victory, fall of Nanda dynasty, create of Maurya dynasty. In name of conflict, Seleucid-Mauryan War from 305 BCE to 303 BCE. India and its ally were Mauryan Empire. Opponents were Seleucid Empire. Outcome were Maurya victory, Maurya annexation of all the Macedonian satrapies in the Indus River Valley, and 500 war elephants given to Seleucus. Marriage between Mauryan and Seleucid families. Name of the conflict: Kaling War, 262 BCE to 261 BCE. India and its allies were the Mauryan Empire. Opponents were Kaling. Outcome was Maurya victory, Mauryan annexation of Kaling. Name of conflict: Umayyad Caliphates in India, 712. Campaigns in India, 712 to 740. Indian and its allies were Gujjar Pratihar dynasty, Chalukya dynasty, and Karkot dynasty. Opponents were Umayyad Caliphate. Outcome was India victory and Arab expansion halted. Then was Chalukya Chola Wars, 992 to 1120 AD. India and its allies were Chola Empire. Opponents were Western Chalukya Empire. Outcome was Chola victory. Name of the conflict: Chola conquest of Anuradhapura, 993 to 1017. India and its allies were Chola Empire. Opponents were Anuradhapura Kingdom. Outcomes were Chola victory. Name of the conflict: Chola invasion of Srivijay, 1025. India and its allies were Chola Empire. Opponents were Srivijay. Outcome was Chola victory. Then Chola invasion of Kadaram, 1068. India and its allies Chola Empire. Opponents were Srivijay. Outcome was Chola victory. Name of the conflict: Mughal Rajput Wars, 1525 to 1750. India and its allies were Mughal Empire. Opponents were the Rajputs. And outcome was Mughal victory and expansion of Mughal influence in northern India. Rajputs gained influence in the Mughal politics, and after 1707, Rajputs have a stream of success and gained their independence and stopped paying taxes. First Battle of Panipat, 1526. India and its allies were Mughal Empire. Opponents were Delhi Sultanate, and it was Mughal victory. Delhi Sultanate annexed by Mughals. Foundation of Mughal Empire. Babur defeated Ibrahim Lodi. Name of the conflict: Battle of Ghagra, 1529. India and its allies were Mughal Empire. Opponents were Sultanate of Bengal. Outcome was Mughal victory. Bihar annexed by Mughals. Name of the conflict: Ahom Mughal conflict, 1615 to 1682. India and its allies were Mughal Empire. Opponents were Ahom Kingdom, and outcome was Ahom victory, extension of Ahom influence to the Manas River. Name of the conflict: Mughal Safavid War, 1622 to 23. India and its allies were Mughal Empire. Opponents was Safavid Empire. Outcome was Persian victory, Safavid Persian annexation of Kandahar. Name of the conflict: Mughal Safavid War, 1649 to 53. India and its allies were Mughal Empire. Opponents were Safavid Empire. Outcome was Persian victory, Safavid Persian re-annexation of Kandahar. Name of the conflict: Mughal conquest of Chittagong, 1665 to 1666. India and its allies were Mughal Empire. Opponents were Kingdom of Morocco. Outcome was Mughal naval and military victory, Mughal annexation of southern eastern Bengal. Name of the conflict: Tibetan Ladakh Mughal War of 1679 to 84. Ladakh and its India and its allies were Ladakh and the Mughal Empire. Opponents were Tibet and Jongar Empire. Mughal in military victory, Mughal withdrawal after signing a treaty with Ladakhis. Tibetan victory in another attack in 1684 with the assistance of reinforcements from the Jongar Empire. Treaty of Tingmos Gang. Deccan War, 1681 to 1707. India and its allies were Mughal Empire. Opponents were Maratha Empire. Outcome was Maratha victory and permanent end to Mughal expansion in the Deccan and Peninsular India. Child's War, 1686 to 1690. India and its allies and opponents were East India and were Indian and its allies, the Mughal Empire. Opponents were East India Company and Mughal victory. Outcome was Mughal victory, British conclusion of peace with the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb in 1689. Name of the conflict: Nadir Shah's invasion of India 1738 to 1739. India and its allies of Mughal Empire. Opponents were Afsharid dynasty. Outcome was Persian victory and Persian occupation and plundering of Delhi. Name of the conflict: Battle of Karnal 1739 to February 13, 1739. India and its allies of Mughal Empire. Opponents were Persian Afsharid Empire. Outcome was Persian victory. Then Siege of Trichinopoli 1741. India and its allies Mughal Empire, Nawab of Carnatic. Opponents were Maratha Empire. Outcome were Maratha victory, Maratha annexation of Tiruchirappalli. Expeditions in Bengal 1741 to 1748. India and its allies Mughal Empire, Nawab of Bengal. Opponents were Maratha Empire. Outcome was Maratha victory and Maratha annexation of territory up to the river Suvarnarekha from Bengal. Name of the conflict: Indian Rebellion of 1857. India and its allies are Mughal Empire and Maratha Empire. Opponents were Company Raj. Outcome was British victory, suppression of the rebellions, end of the Mughal Company and the Maratha rule in India, formation of the British Raj and Empire of India. Then is Maratha Wars, 1681 to 1797, Deccan Wars, Maratha Empire versus Mughal Empire, outcome Maratha victory and permanent end to the Mughal expansion into Deccan and Peninsular India. Then Battle of Vasai, 1739, India and its allies were Maratha Empire, opponents were Portuguese Empire, outcome was Maratha victory. The name of the conflict was Siege of Trichinopoly, 1741, India and its allies were Maratha Empire, opponents were Mughal Empire, Nawab of Carnatic, outcome was Maratha victory, Maratha annexation of Tiruchirappalli. Expedition of Bengal 1741 to 1748. India and its allies of Maratha Empire. Opponents were Mughal Empire, Nawab of Bengal. Outcome was Maratha victory, Maratha annexation of the territory up to the river of Suvarnarekha from Bengal. Name of the conflict: Maratha conquest of Northwest India 1757 to 1758. India and its allies Maratha Empire. Opponents were Durrani Empire. Outcome was Maratha victory, Maratha annexation of Punjab, Kashmir and Northwest Frontier Province. Name of the conflict: First Anglo-Mysore War 1767 to 1769. India and its allies were Company Raj, Maratha Empire, Nawab of the Karnataka and Hyderabad. Opponents were Mysore. Outcome was Mysore victory, Treaty of Madras. First Anglo-Maratha War 1775 to 1782 between Maratha Empire and Company Raj. Maratha victory and Treaty of Saibal was there. Then Maratha-Mysore War 1785 to 1787. Maratha Empire versus Mysore. Maratha victory, Treaty of Gajendragarh. Then Third Anglo-Mysore War 1789 to 1792, Company Raj, Maratha Empire, Hyderabad and Travancore versus Mysore, Maratha Hyderabad British victory, Treaty of Seringhpatnam. Fourth Anglo-Mysore War 1798 to 1799, Company Raj, Maratha Empire, Hyderabad, Travancore. Opponents were Mysore. Outcome was Maratha Hyderabad British victory, inclusion of Mysore as a princely state in the British Raj. Name of the conflict: Second Anglo-Maratha War. India and its allies of Maratha Empire. Opponents were Company Raj. Outcome was British victory, Treaty of Sulji Anjangaon. Third Anglo-Maratha War between Maratha Empire and Company Raj. Outcome was British victory, formal dissolution of the Maratha Empire. Name of the conflict was Indian Rebellion of 1857. From 1857 to 1858, India and its allies of Mughal Empire and Maratha War. Opponents were Company Raj. Outcome was British victory and suppression of rebellions. End of Mughal Company and Maratha rule in India. Formation of British Raj. Medieval Indian empires. The Northwest. During the 2nd century BC, the Maurya Empire became a collage of regional powers with overlapping boundaries. The whole Northwest attracted to a series of invaders between 200 BC and 300 CE. The Puranas speak of many of these tribes as foreigners and impure barbarians. Malech, first the Satavahan dynasty and then the Gupta Empire, both successor states to the Maurya Empire, attempt to contain the expansions of the successive before eventually crumbling internally due to the pressure exerted by these wars. The invading tribes were influenced by Buddhism, which continued to flourish under the patronage of both invaders and Satavahanas and the Guptas and provided a cultural bridge between the two cultures. Over time, the invaders became Indianized as they influenced society and philosophies across the Gangetic Plains and were conversely influenced by it. This period is marked by both intellectual and artistic achievements inspired by the cultural diffusion and syncretism as the new kingdoms straddled the Silk Road. The Indian Scythian Sakas. The Indo-Scythians are the branch of Sakas who migrated from southern Siberia into Bactria, Sogdia, Archosia, Gandhara, Kashmir, Punjab, into the parts western and central India, Gujarat, Maharashtra and Rajasthan. From the middle of the 2nd century BC to the 4th century CE, the first Saka king in India was Maus or Moga, who established a Saka power in Gandhar and gradually extended supremacy over the northwestern India. Indo-Scythian rule in India ended with the last of the western satraps, Rudrasimha III, in the 395 CE. The invasion of the India by Scythian tribes from the Central Asia, often referred to as the Indo-Scythian invasion, played a significant part in the history of India as well as the nearby countries, and in fact the Indo-Scythian War is just one chapter in the events triggered by the nomadic flight of the Central Asians from the conflict with Chinese tribes, which had lasting effects of Bactria and Kabul, Parthia in India as well as far as Rome in the west. Scythian groups had invaded India and set up various kingdoms, included besides the Sakas other allied tribes such as Medes, Scythians, Masagetai, Kitai, Parma, Kamboj Kingdom, Avars, Pahalikas, Rishikas, and Parada Kingdom. The Indo-Greeks. The Indo-Greek kingdom covered various parts of northwestern South Asia during the last 2 centuries BC and was ruled by the 30 Hellenistic kings, which often in conflict with each other. The kingdom was founded when Demetrius of Bactria invaded the Hindu Kush early in the 2nd century BC. The Greeks in India were eventually divided from the Greco-Bactrian kingdom centered in Bactria, now the border between Afghanistan and Uzbekistan. The expression Indo-Greek kingdom loosely describes a number of various dynastic polities. There were numerous cities such as Taxilas, Pakistan's Punjab, Pushkalavati, and Sagala. These cities would house a number of dynasties in their times, and based on Ptolemy's geography and the nomenclature of later kings. A certain Theophilia in the south was also probably a satrapal or royal seat of some point. Euthydemus I was, according to Polybius, a Magnesian Greek. His son Demetrius, founder of the Indo-Greek kingdom, was therefore a Greek descent from his father at minimum. A marriage treaty was arranged for Demetrius with the daughter of Antiochus III the Great, who had partial Persian descent. The ethnicity of later Indo-Greek rulers is less clear. For example, Artemidoros Aniketos, 80 BCE, may have been of Indian Scythian descent. Intermarriage also occurred, as exemplified by Alexander the Great, who married Roxana of Bactria, of Seleucus Nicator, who married Apama of Sogdia. The Yavans or the Yona people, literally Ionian, and meaning of Western foreigners, were described as living beyond Gandhar. The Yavans, Sakas, the Pahalwas, and the Hunas were sometimes described as Malechas, barbarians. Kambojas and the inhabitants of Madra, Kekaya kingdom, and the Indus River region, and the Gandhar were sometimes also classified. The name used to indicate a cultural difference with the culture of Kuru kingdom and Panchal. The Indo-Parthians. The Indo-Parthian kingdom was founded by the Gondophares around 20 BCE. The kingdom lasted only briefly until its conquest by Kushan Empire in the late 1st century CE, and was a loose framework where many smaller dynasties maintained their independence. The Pahalwas. The Pahalwas are a people mentioned in the ancient Indian texts like the Manusmriti, called the Puranas, the Ramayana, and the Mahabharata, and the Brihat Samhita. In some texts, the Pahalwas are synonyms with the Pallav dynasty of the South India, with the Vayu Puran distinguishes between Pahalva and Pahnava. The Vaman Puran and the Matsya Puran refer to as Pallav. Brahmanath Puran and the Markandeya Puran refer to both as Pahlav and Pallav, and the Bhishma Puran, the Mahabharata, does not distinguish between the Pahalvas and the Pallavas. The Pahalvas are said to be same as the Parasikas and Saka group. According to the P. Carnegie, the Pahalvas are probably those people who spoke Pallavi or Pahlavi. The Parthian language Bhular similarly suggests Pahalva is an Indic form of Parthava, meaning Parthian, in the 4th century BC, and the Vartik of the Katyayan mentions the Saka Parthava, demonstrating an awareness of the Saka Parthians, probably by the way of commerce. The Western Satraps. The Western Satraps were Saka rulers of the western and the central part of India, Saurashtra and Malwa, modern Gujarat, southern Sindh, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, and Madhya Pradesh states. Their state, or at least the parts of it, were called as Aryaka, according to the peripherals of the Erythraean Sea. They were the successor of the Indo-Scythians and were the contemporaries with the Kushan Empire, which ruled the northern part of the Indian subcontinent and were possibly their overlords. In the Satavahan dynasty of the Andhra, who ruled in the central India, they are called as Western, in contrast to the northern Indo-Scythian satraps who ruled in the area of Mathura, such as Rajuvala and his successor under the Kushans, the great satrap Harapalana and the satrap Vanasprat. Although they called themselves satraps or their coins, leading to their modern designation of the Western satraps, Ptolemy's geography still called them Indo-Scythians. Altogether, there were 27 independent Western satraps, rulers during a period of 350 years. The Kushans. The Kushan Empire, 1st to 3rd century, originally formed in Bactria on the either side of the middle course of the Amu Darya in what is now the northern Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan. During the 1st century CE, they expanded their territory to include the Punjab and much of the Ganges plain, conquering a number of kingdoms across the northern part of the Indian subcontinent. In the process, the Kushans conquered in the central selection of the main Silk Road and therefore had control over the overland trade between the India and China to east and the Roman Empire and Persia to the west. Empire Kanishk was a great patron of Buddhism. However, as Kushans expanded southward towards the Indian subcontinent, the deities of the later coinage came to reflect its Hindu majority. The Indo-Sassanians, the rise of new Persian power, the Sasanian Empire saw them exert their influence into the Indus region and conquer lands from the Kushan Empire, settling up the Indo-Sassanians around 240 CE. They were to maintain their influence in the region until they were overthrown by the Rashidun Caliphate. Afterwards, they were displaced in 410 CE by the invasion of Hephathalite Empire. The Hepathelite Hunas. The Hepathelite Hunas was another Central Asian nomadic group to invade. They are also linked to the Yuji, who had founded the Kushan Empire from the capital in Bamiyan, the present-day Afghanistan. They extended their rule across the Indus and North India, thereby causing the collapse of Gupta Empire. They were eventually defeated by Sasanian Empire allied with the Turkic peoples. The Rode dynasty was a power of the Indian subcontinent that ruled modern-day Sindh and northwest India from 450 BC. The Rhodes ruled from the Rori. The Rais dynasty from Sindh were the patrons of Buddhism, even though they also established a huge temple of Shiva in Sukkur, close to the capital, Arod. The Gandharan Satrapi became an independent kingdom from the Afghanistan and vied with the Tang dynasty, Tibetan Empire, and Islamic Caliphate and Turkish tribes for the domination in the region. The Karkotas. The Karkota was established around 625 CE. During the 8th century, they consolidated their rule over Kashmir. The most illustrious ruler of the dynasty was Lalitaditya Muktipada. According to the Kalhana Rajat Rangini, he defeated the Tibetans and Yashovarman of the Kanya Kubja and subsequently conquered eastern kingdoms of Magad, Kamrup, Gaur, and Kaling. Kalhan also stated that he extended his influence over Malwa and Gujarat and defeated Arabs at Sindh. According to historians, Kalhan highly exaggerated the conquest of Lalitaditya. The Kabul Shahis. The Kabul Shahis dynasty ruled portions of the Kabul Valley and the Gandhar from the decline of the Kushan Empire in the 3rd century to the early 9th century. The kingdom was known as Kabul Shahan and the Rafil Shahan from 565 CE to 670 CE, when the capitals were located in the Kapis and Kabul, and later Udhabhandapura, also known as Hund for its new capital. In the ancient times, the Shahi appears to be quite popular royal title in Afghanistan and northwestern areas of the Indian subcontinent. Variants were used much more priorly than the Near East, but as well as later in the Shakas, Kushans, Hunas, Bactrias by rulers of Kapis, Kabul, and Gilgit. In Persian form, the title appears as Kshatriya Shatyam, Shah of the Kushans, and the Shasha of the Mihir Kul Huna chief. The Kushans also stated that have adopted a Shaha and Shahi, Shaha now Shao. In the limitation of the Achaemenid practice, the Shahis are generally split into the two eras, the Buddhist Shahis and the Hindu Shahis, with the change over the thoughts to have occurred sometimes around the 870 CE. The Satvahana Empire. The Satvahana Empire began as a feudatory to the modern empire but declared independence with its decline. They were the first Indic rulers to issue coins stuck between their rulers' embossed and are known to the patronage of Buddhism, resulting in the Buddhist monuments from the Ellora caves to Amravati village, Guntur district. They formed a cultural bridge and played a vital role in the trade and transfer of the ideas and the culture to and from Gangetic plains in the southern tip of India. The Satavahanas had to compete with the Shunga Empire and then Kanva dynasties of Magad to establish their rule. Later, they had contend in protecting their domain from incursions of Sakars, Yonas, and Pahalwas. In particular, their struggles with the western Satras weakened and the empire split into the smaller states. The Mahameghavan dynasty, the Mahameghavan dynasty 250 BCE to 400 CE was an ancient ruling dynasty of Kaling after the decline of Mauryan Empire. The third ruler of the dynasty, Kharbel, conquered much of India in a series of campaigns at the beginning of the Common Era. Kalibangan military might was reinstalled by Kharbela. Under the Kharbela generalship, the Kalinga state had a formidable maritime reach with the trade routes linking it to the Tan Shimla, Sri Lanka, Burma, Myanmar, Siam, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Borneo, Bali, Samudra, Sumatra, and Jabal Dweep, Java. Kharbela had led successful campaigns against the state of Magad, Anga, Satavahanas, and the South India regions ruled by the Pandyan dynasty, modern Andhra Pradesh, and expanded Kalinga as far as Ganges and Kaveri. The Kharvelan state that had formidable maritime empire with the trading routes linking to Sri Lanka, Burma, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Borneo, Bali, Sumatra, and Java. Colonists with Kaling settled in Sri Lanka, Burma, as well as Maldives and maritime Southeast Asia. Even today, Indians are referred to as Kaling in the Malaysia because of this. Although religiously tolerant, Kharbel patronized Jainism and was responsible for the propagation of Jainism in the Indian subcontinent, but this importance is neglected in many accounts of Indian history. The main source of information about Kharbel is in the famous 17-line rock-cut Hathi Gumfa inscription in the Udaygiri and the Khandagiri caves near the Bhubaneswar, Odisha. According to Hathi Gumfa inscription, he attacked Rajgriha in Magad, thus inducing the Indo-Greek king Demetrius I of Bactria to retreat to Mathura. The Bharshiva dynasty. Before the rise of the Guptas, Bharshiva kings ruled the most of Indo-Gangetic plains. They performed 10 Ashwamedh sacrifices on the banks of Ganga River. Samudragupta mentioned Naga rulers in the Allahabad pillar. The Guptas. The classical age refers to the period where much of the Indian subcontinent was reunited under the Gupta Empire. CA. This period is called the Golden Age of India and marked by extensive achievements in science, technology, engineering, art, dialect, literature, logic, mathematics, astronomy, religion, philosophy that crystallized the elements of what is generally known as the Hindu culture. The high points of the cultural activities seen in the Gupta architecture, sculpture, and painting. The Gupta period produced scholars such as Kalidas, Aryabhat, Varahamihir, Vishnu Sharma, and Vatsyayan, who made advances in a variety of academic fields. The Vakatakas. The Vakataka Empire was a contemporary of the Gupta Empire and the successor state of the Satavahanas. They formed the southern boundaries of the north and ruled over today's modern states of Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra during the 3rd and 5th centuries. The rock-cut Buddhist viharas and chaityas of Ajanta caves, a unique UNESCO World Heritage Site built under the patronage of Vakataka rulers, eventually overturned by Chalukyas. The Harshvardhan. After the collapse of Gupta Empire, the Gangetic plains fractured into numerous small nations. Harsha of Kannauj was able to briefly bind them together under the rulership of the Empire of Harsha. Only a defeat at the hands of Chalukyas prevented him from expanding his reign to south Narmada River. The unity did not last long beyond his reign, and the empire fractured soon after his death, 647 AD. The Gurjars. From 550 to 1018 AD, the Gurjars played a great part in the history of northern India. Nearly 500 years. Present-day Rajasthan was under the rulers of Gujars for centuries, with the capital of Bhilmal or Srimal, situated near 50 miles to the northwest of Mount Abu. The Gujars and the Bhilmar conquered Kannauj and the Ganges at the beginning of the 9th century, and they transferred the capital into Kannauj and founded an empire which its peak was bounded on the east by Bihar, on the west by Lost River, the Hakra and the Arabian Sea, on the north by Himalaya and Satluj, and on the south by the Jumna and Narmada. The region around Broch, which was offshoot of this kingdom, and also ruled by the Gurjars of Nandipuri. The Vishnu Kundinas. The Vishnu Kundinas Empire was an Indian dynasty that ruled over the Deccan, Odisha, and parts of South India during the 5th and the 6th centuries, carving land out of Vakataka Empire. The Vishnu Kundin region came to an end with the conquest of eastern Deccan and Chalukya. Pulakshin II. Pulakshin II appointed his brother Kubja Vishnuvardhan as viceroy to rule over the conquered realms. Eventually, Vishnuvardhan declared the independence and started the Eastern Chalukya dynasty. The Matrakas. The Matrakas ruled Gujarat in the western India from 475 to 767 CE. The founder of the dynasty, Senapati General Bhatrak, was a military governor of Saurashtra Peninsula under the Gupta Empire, who had established himself as the independent ruler of the Gujarat approximately in the last quarter of the 5th century. The first two Matrakas rulers, Bhatrak and Dharsena, one used to be the title of Senapati. The third ruler, Dronsimha, declared himself as Maharaj King. Goshena stopped using the Param Bhattarak Padan Udyat along with his name like his predecessors, which denotes a cessation of displaying the nominal allegiance to the Gupta overlords. He was succeeded by his son Dharsen II, who used the title of Mahadhiraj. His son, next ruler Shiladitya Dharmaditya, was described by Hyun Sang as monarch of the great administrative ability and the rare kindness and the compassion. Shiladitya I was succeeded by his younger brother Khargraha I. Virdi Corpulent Grant 616 CE of the Khargraha proves that his territories includes Ujjain. The Gurjar Pratihars. The Gurjar Pratihars formed an Indian dynasty that ruled much of the northern India from the 6th and 11th centuries. At its peak of the prosperity and power, it rivaled the Gupta Empire in the extent of its territory. Pointing out the importance of the Gurjar Pratihar Empire in the history of India, Dr. R.C. Majumdar has observed the Gurjar Pratihar Empire, which continued in the full glory for nearly a century, was the last great empire in the northern India before the Muslim conquest. The honor is accorded to the Empire of Harsha by many historians of repute, but without any real justification. Now, the Pratihar Empire was probably larger, certainly not less in extent, rivaled the Gupta Empire, and brought the political unity and its attendant blessings upon the large part of northern India. But its chief credit lies in the successful resistance to the foreign invasions from the west from the days of Junaid. This was frankly recognized by the Arab visitors, writers themselves. Historians of India, since the days of Elphinstone, has wondered at slow progress of Muslim invaders in the India compared to their rapid advance to the other parts of the world. Arguments of the doubtful validity have often been put forward to explain his unique phenomenon. Now, there can be little doubt that it was the power of the Gurjar Pratihar army that effectively barred the progress of the Muslim beyond the confines of the Sindh, the first conquest for nearly 300 years. In the light of later events in this This migrated might be regarded as the chief contribution of the Gujjar Pratiharas into the history of India. Mihir Bhoj 836 to 885 CE, or Bhoj I, was the ruler of Gujjar Pratihar dynasty of India. He succeeded his father Rambhadra. Bhoj was a devotee of Vishnu and adopted the title of Adi Varha, which is inscribed in some of its coins. One of the outstanding political figures of India in the 9th century, he ranks with the Dhruv Dharavarsh and Dharampal as a great general and empire builder. At its height, Bhoj Empire extended to Narmada River in the south, Satluj River in the northwest, and up to the Bengal in the east, and it extended over a large area from the foot of Himalayas to the Narmada River and included the present district of Etawah in Uttar Pradesh. During his reign, his capital was Kannauj, present-day Uttar Pradesh. During this period, Kannauj was referred to as Panchal. He was a bitter enemy of the Arab invaders, who, according to the Arab chronicler Suleiman, maintained a large army and had fine cavalry. He succeeded by his son Mahendrapal 836 to 910 CE. The Rajput were a Hindu clan who rose to power across a region stretching from the Gangetic plains to the Afghan mountains, and referred to the various dynasties of the many kingdoms in the region in the wake of the collapse of Sassanid Empire and the Gupta Empire, and the marks of transition of Buddhist rule dynasties to the Hindu ruling dynasties. The Katoch dynasty. The Katoch were a Hindu Rajput clan of the Chandravanshi lineage, with the recent research suggests that Katoch may be one of the oldest royal dynasties in the world. The Chauhans. The Chauhan dynasty flourished from the 8th to 12th century CE. It was one of the three main Rajput dynasties of that era, the others being Pratiharas and Parmars. Chauhan dynasty established themselves in several places in North India and the state of Gujarat in western India. They were also prominent at Sirohi in the southwest of the Rajputana, and the Bundli and Kota in the east. Inscription also associate them with Sambhar. The Great Lake area in the Amber, later Jaipur district, Sakhambari branch, remained near Sambhar and married into the ruling Gujjar Pratihara, who ruled an empire in the northeastern India. Chauhans adopted a political policy that allowed them to indulge largely in the campaigns against the Chalukyas and the invading Muslim hordes. In the 11th century, they found the city of Ajmer, in the southern part of the kingdom, and in the 12th century, the Chauhans captured the Dhilika, an ancient name of Delhi, from the Tomars, and annexed some of their territory along the Yamuna River. The Kachhawa. The Kachwaha originated tributaries preceding the powers of the region. Some scholars pointed it was following the downfall in the 8th to 10th century. The Kannauj, the region seat of power following the breakup of Harsha's empire, that the Kachap Ghat state emerged as a principal power in the Chambal Valley of the present-day Madhya Pradesh. The Parmars. The Parmars was a Rajput dynasty in the early medieval Indian dynasty who ruled over the Malwa region in the central India. The dynasty was founded by Upendra in the 800 CE. The most significant ruler of the dynasty was Bhoj, who was a philosopher, king, and a polymath. The seat of the Parmar kingdom was the Dhar Nagari, the present-day Dhar city in the Madhya Pradesh state. The Chalukyas. The Chalukyas was a Rajput dynasty in the Gujarat. Ahivar, for modern Siddhapur Patan, served as the capital. Gujarat was a major center of the Indian Ocean trade. The Anilwar was one of the largest cities in India, and the population estimated at 1 lakh in this year. In the year 1000. The Chalukyas were the patrons of great seaside temples of Shiva at Somnath Patan in the Kathiawar. Bhimdev helped rebuild the temple after it was sacked by Mahmud of Ghazni in 1026. His son Karn conquered the Bhil king Ashpal or Ashawal, and after his victory established a city named Karnavati on the banks of the Sabarmati river at the site of modern Ahmedabad. The Tomars of Delhi. The Tomars of Delhi was a Rajput clan during the 9th to 12th century. The Tomars of Delhi ruled a part of present-day Delhi and Haryana. Much of the information about its dynasty comes from the bardic legends of the historical value, and reconstruction of their history is difficult. According to the bardic tradition, the dynastic founder Anangpal Tuar and the Anangpal Tomar founded Delhi in 736. However, the authenticity of this claim is doubtful. The bardic legends also state that the last Tomar king, also known as Anangpal, passed on to the throne of Delhi to the maternal grandson of Prithviraj Chauhan. This claim also is inaccurate. Historical evidence shows that Prithviraj inherited Delhi from his father Someshwar. According to the Bijolia inscription of Someshwar, his brother Vigraharaj IV had captured Dhelika and Ashika Hansi. He probably defeated a Tomar ruler. Ghadawala dynasty. The Ghadawala dynasty had ruled the parts of present-day Indian states of the Uttar Pradesh and Bihar during the 11th and 12th centuries. The capital was located at Varanasi in the Gangetic Plains. The Khayarwala dynasty. The Khayarwala dynasty ruled the parts of present-day Indian states of Bihar and Jharkhand during the 11th and the 12th centuries. The capital was located at Khairgarh in the Sahabad district. Pratap Dhawala, Sri Pratap were king of the dynasty according to the inscription of Rohtas. The Pratihars ruled from Mandor near present-day Jodhpur. They held the little title of Rana before being defeated by the Ghulas of Chittor. The Palas. The Pala Empire was a Buddhist dynasty that ruled from the northeastern dynasty of the Indian subcontinent. The name Pala, modern Bengali, means a protector and was used as ending to the names of the Pala monarchs. The Palas were the followers of the Mahayana and Tantric schools of the Buddhism. Gopal was the first ruler of the dynasty. He came to the power in 750 CE in Gaur by a democratic election. This event is recognized as one of the first democratic elections in the South Asia since the time of Mahajanpadas. He reigned from the 750-770 CE and consolidated his position by extending the control over all of Bengal. The Buddhist dynasty lasted for 4 centuries, 750 to 1120 CE, and ushered in the period of stability and prosperity in Bengal. They created many temples and work of art as well as supported the universities of the Nalanda and Vikramshila. Sompura Mahavira, built by Dharampal, is the greatest Buddhist vihar in Indian subcontinent. The empire reached its peak under Dharampal and Devpal. Dharampal extended the empire into the northern parts of the Indian subcontinent. That triggered once again the power struggle of the control of the subcontinent. The Devpal, successor of Dharampal, expanded the empire to cover much of the South Asia and beyond. His empire stretched from Assam and Utkal in the east, Kamboj, modern-day Afghanistan, in the northwest, and the Deccan in the south. According to the Pala copper plate inscription, Devpal exterminated the Utkals, conquered the Pratyek Jyotish Assam, shattered the pride of the Hun, and humbled the lord of Pratiharas, Gurjars, and Dravidas. The Chandras, the Chandra dynasty, who ruled over eastern Bengal and were the contemporaries of the Palas. The Eastern Gangas, the Eastern Ganga dynasty rulers reigned over Kalinga, which consisted of parts of modern-day Indian states of Odisha, West Bengal, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, and Andhra Pradesh from the 11th century to the early 5th century, 15th century. Their capital was known by the name of Kali Ganga Nagar, which is the modern-day Srimukhalingam in Srikakulam district of Andhra Pradesh, bordering Odisha. Today, they are most remembered as the builders of Konark Sun Temple, a World Heritage Site at Konark, Odisha. It was built by the King Narsim Dev I, 1238 to 1264 CE. During their reign, a new style of temple architecture came into being, commonly known as Indo-Aryan architecture. This dynasty was founded by King Anantavarman Choda Ganga Dev 1078 to 1147 CE. He was religious Persian and a patron of art and literature. He is credited for having built the famous Jagannath of Puri in Odisha. King Anantvarman Choda Ganga Dev was succeeded by a long line of illustrious rulers such as Narsimha Dev I. The rulers of Eastern Ganga dynasties not only defended their kingdoms from the constant attacks of the Muslim rulers from the northern and the southern Ganga, but were perhaps one of the few empires to have successfully invaded and defeated their Muslim adversary. The Eastern Ganga King Narsimha Dev I invaded the Muslim kingdoms of Bengal and handed a heavy defeat to the Sultan. This ensured the Sultanate never encroached upon the domains of the Ganga emperors for nearly a century. His military exploits still survive today as folklore in Odisha. These domains of the Ganga emperors for nearly a century. His military exploits survive today as folklore in Odisha. Sorry for the repetition. This kingdom prospered through trade and commerce, and the wealth was mostly used in the construction of temples. The rule of this dynasty came to end under the reign of King Bhanu Dev IV in the early 15th century. The Senas. The Palas were followed by Sena dynasty, who brought Bengal under one ruler during the 12th century. Vijay Sen, the second ruler of this dynasty, defeated the last Pala emperor Madan Pal and established his reign. Ballal Sen introduced Kuleen system in the Bengal and made Navadvip the capital. The fourth king of this dynasty, Lakshman Sen, expanded the empire beyond Bengal to Bihar, Assam, northern Odisha, and probably to Varanasi. Lakshman was later defeated by Muslims and fled to the eastern Bengal, where he ruled few more years. The Sena dynasty brought a revival of Hinduism and cultivated Sanskrit literature in India. The Varmans. The Varman dynasty, not to be confused with the Varman dynasty of Kamrup, ruled over the eastern Bengal and were contemporaries of the Senas. Kamrup. The Kamrup, also Pratyek Jyotish, was one of the historical kingdoms of Assam alongside Devak, and that existed from 350 to 1140 CE, ruled by the three dynasties from the capitals in the present-day Guwahati, North Guwahati, and Tezpur. It at its height covered the entire Brahmaputra Valley, northern Bengal, Bhutan, and parts of Bangladesh, and at times the portions of West Bengal and Bihar. The Varmans. The Varman dynasty is the first historical rulers of the Kamrup was established by the Pushyavarman, a contemporary of Samudragupta. The dynasty became the vassals of the Gupta Empire, but as the power of Guptas waned, Mahendravarman 470 to 494 CE performed two hot sacrifices and threw off its imperial yoke. The first of the three Kamrup dynasties, the Varman dynasties, followed by the Malesh and the Pala dynasties, the Malechas. The Malecha dynasty succeeded the Varman dynasty and ruled to the end of 10th century. They ruled from the capital in the vicinity of the Rupeshwar Tejpur. The rulers were aboriginals and the lineage from Narkasur. According to historical records, there were 10 rulers in the dynasties. The Malech dynasty in the Kamrup was followed by Pala kings. The Pala dynasty of Kamrup succeeded the Malech dynasty, ruled from this capital at Durjai, North Guwahati. Dynasty reigned till the end of 12th century. Brahmapal 900 to 920 CE was the founder of Pala dynasty. 900 to 1100 CE of Kamrup dynasty ruled from its capital called Tuljai, modern day northern Guwahati. The greatest of the Pala king Dharmpal had its capital at Kamrup Nagar and now identified as northern Guwahati. The Ratnapal was another notable sovereign of this line. Records of the land grants have been found at Bargaon and Sadikochi, while Sualkochi, while a similar relic of Indrapal has been discovered at Guwahati. Pala dynasty came to an end with Jaipal in 1075 to 1100 CE. The Twipra ruled the entire ancient Tripura. Kingdoms was established around the confluence of Brahmaputra river with the Meghna and Surma rivers in the today's central Bangladesh area. The capital was called Khorongma and was along with the Meghna river in the Sylhet division in the present day of Bangladesh. The Cheras. From the early prehistoric times, Tamil Nadu was the home of the four of the Tamil states, the Cheras, the Cholas, the Pandyas, and the Pallavas. The oldest extant literature, dated between 300 BCE and 600 CE, mentions the exploit of the kings and the princes, and of the poets who extolled them, the Cherans, who spoke Tamil language, ruled over from the capital of Karur in the west and traded extensively with the West Asian kingdoms. An unknown dynasty called the Kalbhras invaded and once displaced the three Tamil kingdoms between the 4th and the 7th centuries. This is referred to as the Dark Age in the Tamil history. They were eventually expelled by the Pallavas and the Pandavas. The Kalabhras. Little of the origins of the time during which they ruled is known beyond. They ruled over the entirety of the southern tip of the India during the 3rd to 6th century. Overcoming of the Sangam era kingdoms, they appear to be patrons of Jainism and Buddhism as the only source of the information of them in the scattered mentions in the many Buddhist and the Jain literature of the time. They were contemporaries of the Kadambas in the Western Ganga dynasty. They were overcome by the rise of the Pallavas and the resurgence of the Pandyan kingdom. The Kadambas. The Kadamba dynasty was an ancient royal family of the Karnataka that ruled from the Banwasi in the present day Uttar Kannada district. The dynasty later continued to rule as a feudatory of larger Kannada empires, the Chalukya and the Rashtrakuta empires, for over 500 years, during which time they branched into Goa and Hanagal. At the peak of their power under the king Kakushat Varma, they ruled large parts of Karnataka during the pre-Kadam era, and the ruling families that controlled the Karnataka and the Mauryas, the Satavahanas, and the Chotus were not natives of the region, and nucleus of the power resided outside the present-day Karnataka. The Kadambas were the first indigenous dynasty to use Kannada, the language of the soil, at an administrative level. In the history of Karnataka, this era serves as the broad-based historical starting point in the study of the development of the region as an enduring geopolitical entity and Kannada as an important regional language. The Western Gangas. The Western Gangas dynasty 350 to 1000 CE. Kannada was an important ruling dynasty of the ancient Karnataka in India. They were known as Western Gangas to distinguish them from the Eastern Gangas, who in later centuries ruled over the modern Odisha. The general belief is the Western Gangas began their rule during the time where multiple natives clans asserted their freedom due to the weakening of the Pallav dynasty of the South India, a geopolitical event sometimes attributed to the southern conquest of the Samudragupta. The Western Gangas sovereignty lasted from over 350 to 550 CE, initially ruling from the Kolar and later moving the capital to Talakad on the banks of the Kaveri in the modern Mysore district. After the rise of the imperial Chalukya dynasty at Badami, the Gangas accepted the Chalukya overlordship and fought for the cause of the old lords against the Pallavas and the Kanchipurams. The Chalukyas were replaced by the Rashtrakutas and the Manya Khet in 753 CE and the dominant power in the Deccan. After a century of struggle of autonomy, the Western Gangas finally accepted the Rashtrakutas' overlordship and successfully fought alongside them against the rulers and the Chola dynasties of the Tanjavur. The Chalukya dynasties, the natives of Aihole and the Badami region in the Karnataka, were all the first feudatory of the Kadambas. They encouraged the use of Kannada in addition to the Sanskrit language in their administration. In the middle of the 6th century, the Chalukyas came into their own when the Pulkeshin made the hill fortress in Badami his center of power. During the rule of Pulkeshin II, a South Indian empire went expeditions to the north, passed the Tapti river and Narmada river for the first time, and successfully defied Harshvardhan, the king of northern India, like Uttar Prateshwar. The Aihole inscription of Pulkeshin II, written in classical Sanskrit language and the Old Kannada language, dated 634, proclaims these victories against the kingdoms of Kadambas, Western Gangas, Alupas of the southern Canara, and Mauryas of Puri, kingdom of Kosal, Malwa, Lata, and Kolchar of southern Rajasthan. The inscription describes the king Harsha of Kannauj lost his Harsha, joyful disposition, on seeing a large number of his war elephants die in the battle against Pulkeshin II. The Pallavas. The 7th century Tamil Nadu saw the rise of Pallavas under the Mahendravarman I and his son Mamal Narasimhavarman. The Pallavas were not recognized political power before 2nd century. It has been widely accepted by shlokas that they were originally executive officers under the Satavahan Empire. After the fall of Satvahana, they began to get the control over the parts of Andhra and Tamil country. Later, they had marital ties with the Vishnu Kundian who ruled over the Deccan. It was around 550 AD under King Simha Vishnu that Pallavas emerged into a prominence. They subjugated the Cholas and reigned as far as south as Kaveri River. Pallava rulers ruled a large portion of South India with the Kanchipuram as the capital. Dravidian architecture reached its peak during the Pallav rule. The Eastern Chalukyas. The Eastern Chalukyas were the South Indian dynasties whose kingdom were located in the present-day Andhra Pradesh. The capital was Vengi, and their dynasty lasted for around 500 years, from the 7th century until 1130 CE, when the Vengi kingdom merged with the Chola Empire. The Vengi kingdom was continued with the rule of the Eastern Chalukyas kings under the protection of Chola Empire until 1189 CE, when the kingdom succumbed to the Hoysalas and the Yadavas. They had their capital originally at the Vengi, now Peddavegi, Chinnavegi, Dendaluru, near Eluru of the Western Godavari district, and later changed to the Raja Mahendra Varman Rajamundry. The Pandyas. Pallavas were replaced by the Pandyas in 8th century. The capital Madurai was in the deep south, away from the coast. They had extensive trade links with the southeastern Asian maritime empires of the Srivijay and their successors, as well as the contacts and even diplomatic reaching as far as the Roman Empire. During the 13th century of the Christian era, the Marco Polo mentioned it as the richest empire in existence. Temples like Meenakshi Amma temple at the Madurai and the Nillaipar temple at the Tirunelveli are the best examples of the Pandyan temple architecture. The Pandyan excelled in both trade as well as the literature, and they controlled the pearl fisheries along the southern Indian coastal coast between the Sri Lanka and India, which produced some of the finest pearls in the known ancient world. The Rajputas. The Rajputas in the middle of 8th century of the Chalukya rulers was ended by the feudatory. The Rajputa family rulers of the Berar in the present-day Amravati district of the Maharashtra. Sensing an opportunity during a weak period of the Chalukya rule, Tanti Durga trounced the great Chalukyan Karnatbala power of Kamal, having overthrown the Chalukyas. The Rashtrakutas made Manikhet their capital, modern Malkhed, in the Gulbarg district. The Western Chalukyas. In the later 10th century, the Western Chalukyas, also known as the Kalyani Chalukyas or the later Chalukyas, rose to power by overtaking the Rashtrakutas under whom they had been serving as feudatories. Manikhet was the capital early on before they moved it to Kalyani, modern Basva Kalyan. Whether the kings of this empire belonged to the same family line as the namesakes, the Badami Chalukyas will still debated. In 1076 CE, the ancient of the most famous king of the Chalukya family, Vikramaditya VI, changed the balance of power in the favor of Chalukyas. His 50-year reign was an important period in the Karnataka's history and referred to as Chalukya Vikrama era. The Sivuna or Yadav dynasty was an Indian dynasty which was at peak ruled a kingdom stretching from the Tungabhadra to the Narmada river, including the present-day Maharashtra, North Karnataka, and parts of Madhya Pradesh. From its capital at Devgiri, present-day Daulatabad in Maharashtra, the Yadavas initially ruled as feudatories of the Western Chalukyas. Around the middle of the 12th century, they declared independence and established rule that reached its peak under the Singhan II. The Kakatiyas. The Kakatiya was a South Indian dynasty that ruled a part of what is now known as Telangana, India, from 1083 to 1323 CE. They were once one of the great Telugu kingdoms of that lasted for centuries. The Kalachuris. The Kalachuris is a name by two kingdoms who had succession of dynasties from 10th century to 12th century and once ruling over areas in central India, West Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and were the Chedi of or Haya, northern branch, and the other southern Kalachur who ruled over the parts of Karnataka. They are disparately placed in the time and space. Apart from dynastic name and perhaps a belief in common ancestry, there is a little known sources to connect them. The Hoysalas had become a powerful force even during their rule from Belur in 11th century as a feudatory of the Chalukyas in the southern Karnataka region. In the early 12th century, they successfully fought in the Cholas in south, convincingly defeating them in the Battle of Talakad and moved their capital to forcibly Halebeedu. During this period of Hoysala control, distinctive Karnataka literally meters such as Ragale blank verse, Sangatya meant to be sung for the accompaniment of the music instrument Shatpadi etc. became widely accepted. The Cholas. By the 9th century, under the Rajaraja Chola and his son Rajendra Chola, the Cholas rose over as notable power in South Asia. The Chola kingdom stretched over as far as Bengal. At its peak, the empire spanned over 3.6 million kilometers square. The Rajaraja Chola one conquered all the peninsular South India and the parts of Sri Lanka. Rajendra Chola's movies went even further, occupying coast of Burma from Myanmar in Vietnam to the Andaman and Nicobar Island, Lakshadweep, Sumatra, Java, Malaya in the Southeast Asia, and Pegu Islands. He defeated the Mahipal, the king of Bengal, and also to commemorate his victory, he built a new capital and named it Gagankonda Cholapuram. So medieval India during the Harsha Empire by the 7th century AD, data source Wikipedia. You can see there is yellow colored Sindh, then you can also see there is a Chalukya and the Pallavas and the Kaling, and the green colored empire is the Harsha Empire, which is from Delhi to Malwa to near Kamrup in the northeast. Then the empire at its greatest extent in the 1700, data source Wikipedia again. India in 700, you can see the Gondwana, the oligarchs, and the Mughal Empire. So you can see the green color is the Portuguese possession, the pink color is the English possession, the blue color is the French possession, the Hina color is the Dutch possession, and the yellow color is the Danish possession. So this is the extent of empire. Now this is the image showing the Mughal genealogical table. You can see there is Timur line, then there is Babur, the Humayun, Akbar the Great, Jahangir. Then from Jahangir there were Khusro Mirza and Dawar Baks, and from Shah Jahan. Then there was Shah Jahan, and then from Shah Jahan was Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb had three. Aurangzeb, Shuja. Shah Jahan had three: Aurangzeb, Shah Suja, and Murad Baksh. From Aurangzeb was Azam Shah, Bahadur Shah I, Muhammad Akbar, and Muhammad Kambaksh. From Bahadur Shah was Azimus Shah, Rafius Shah, and Jahandar Shah, and Khujista Akhtar. From Khujista Akhtar was Muhammad Shah, and Ahmad Shah Bahadur, and Bidar Bhakt. From Jahandar Shah was Alamgir II, Shah Alam II, Akbar Shah II, and Bahadur Shah Jafar. And from Azimus Shah was Farrukhsiyar, Shah Jahan II, Rafiud Darjat, and Muhammad Ibrahim. So this is the Mughal genealogy. So hope you liked my lecture. Hope you learned a lot for your competitive exams. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. Have a nice day.